Well, good morning, Tammy.
Good morning, Julie.
How are you?
I'm good. How you doing today?
I'm good. It's we were having a Zoom commentary before we started because everything was so slow.
Yeah, a little
So
frustrating. It happens.
I don't know whether it's and it doesn't matter. Anyway, um, it is Tuesday,
September
September 7th,
7th. I know.
and
Where did August go?
I don't know.
And the fact that's already the 7th of September.
I know.
You've got a birthday coming up, Missy.
You.
Yes, you do.
I do.
Yeah. Okay, well, I'll let you talk about that when you want to.
I mean, here's what that's just another conversation, and I don't really care if we have it here. So um, maybe not. No, probably nobody else cares either. So, but we do have a question. So let's introduce. So feel free.
Oh, okay. So we are two psychic moms. Julie and I are intuitive readers, and we welcome any sessions. We give reading sessions. So you can contact me at tammysintuitive.com is my website. Tammy's Intuitive Services is my Facebook, Instagram pages. And I also have a Tammy's Channel Chats YouTube video as well, if you care to check those out. So that's how you can find me. And how about you, Julie?
JulieHawkins.com, bizpsychic.com, private readings, two psychic moms. I haven't channeled privately for a while. I think I took a break from that, and I never restarted it on my YouTube channel. Oh no, she's stepping on the keyboard.
Not what you need right now.
Wait, everything got muted. Jeez. Okay, speak.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh man.
Yeah, lots that you need right now, right?
Felix is a little bit more cognizant of that, and he doesn't do it, but Bella, she doesn't care.
Yeah.
So yes. So but Tammy and I have a live Facebook event.
Yes.
Oh, please, Bella. Okay.
And thank you for reminding us that so that we can talk about that. Yeah.
Okay, now I've lost my picture on this end. Let me see if I can get it back. But keep talking.
So Julie's been having some issues with her Zoom today. So yes, we are going to do our first live Facebook Two Psychic Moms on September 22nd at 6:30 p.m. I have to think about the time, 6:30 p.m. Pacific time. So as Julie had mentioned in her little post, gather your questions together. If you've got some questions you've been wanting to ask us, we would love to take them. And, obviously we're looking at more like general questions and things like that. Not so much the personal ones. Personal questions, then kind of go into a personal reading. So we're pretty excited about it. So Facebook Live, Two Psychic Moms at 6:30 p.m. Pacific time on the 22nd.
I still haven't got my join us. This is ridiculous.
Can you hear me?
Oh, wait, there are. Okay.
Oh, good.
Am I mute?
Nope, I can hear you. Keep talking though. Or well, when you're talking, there was a little echo. It may not be now though.
Oh, wait. Am I echoed?
Nope, not now.
Okay, because then something showed up and it was like, your sound is off. And I'm like, oh, cats.
We love them so, but cats and computers don't generally go together very well, as I think most people.
And the problem is then she steps on something. I don't know what she stepped on, because it's the keyboard.
Exactly.
And we are recording, yes, thankfully. Okay, so thanks, Tammy, for doing all that, because I was clearly so we have a question from Rudy. And Rudy, I just love that. I feel like you just go out of your way to ask us questions, and
we appreciate it. Thank you, Rudy.
Really appreciate it.
Yeah.
There must be cosmic questions out there for people, though. Come on, right? So funny. So I was watching. It was a weekend of Captain Marvel, or so. This whole weekend is all the Marvel. All the Marvel comics and stuff. And I really love that because it's a great escape where people go and battle evil and good always wins. So it always makes me feel really good.
Right.
And so I was watching how Captain Marvel or Marvel came into being, and she just kicks ass in that movie. I just love it so much. So anyway, I was watching how, I don't know how I got off on this tangent, but I was watching, and there's a scene at the end where the cat goes to throw up a cosmic energy source, right? In the form of a cube, that the cat's an alien. And Fiona walked into the room and she sees the cat on the TV, literally sees the cat on the TV. And she's sitting there watching, and she goes, and she sees the cat do, the vomit
Yeah.
sound, right?
Yeah.
I could repeat it, but I'm not going to. And,
cat owners know.
exactly. And she is sitting there and she's like this. She was, and then the cat was done and it left and she left. I've had one other cat that likes to watch TV, but
yeah. Sometimes certain things will really catch their eye. We've noticed that too. The bird, we're talking about cat things just for a moment here, as you can tell. But I was going to say those, some of those cat videos are kind of cool with the birds and everything. And two of my cats at the beginning really loved it. Years ago, when I would put it on for them, they would just sit there, at it and stare. After a while, though, then it's like, oh, we know what that is. It's not real. Nice try, Mom.
thanks.
Yeah, onto something else. But yeah, so it's fun when they do. It's fun to see what it is that's capturing their attention.
I think what led me off on that was I was saying there must be more cosmic questions in the universe, and then all of a sudden I thought of Captain Marvel, and she's like queen of the universe.
Yeah. I'm loving this question though from Rudy. It's a great one,
let's
Rudy.
get to the question.
It's a fun question. Okay, so Rudy is wondering, hey, haven't we all thought this maybe at some point, right? Bigfoot. We've all heard of Bigfoot, legendary Bigfoot, right? So he's wondering, does Bigfoot exist? And if so, are they interdimensional beings? And I love this, Rudy. He says, why can't anyone find them or their graves? Good point. Good point, right? You would think those graves would be really, really obvious with Bigfoot. So it's a fun one to look at for you. So shall we go into that then, Julie?
Yeah, so the first thing I'll just say is they when he asked if they were interdimensional, my guide said no. So, but carry on from wherever you.
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, exactly. So it's gonna be fun to see here. Okay, so Bigfoot, legendary Bigfoot. Okay. I guess I'm not surprised to hear this from my guides, but I heard he is real, This is what I heard. Okay, so let me explore just what they have to say. Okay, they tell me that he's in the mind's eye. So he isn't necessarily solid. So I'm going to go with Rudy, what you're saying, interdimensional being is quite possible. It's something like that. Because we see him. Sometimes people will see him in their mind's eye, but not necessarily, he is not necessarily solidly there, is what they're saying. Guides, so that's interesting. Does he exist then, on some level, as we would say? Yes. But you see, there's also those out there who very, very, very much want to see Bigfoot. And so their intention and their curiosity might create the vision. So interesting, you see how they're going first to in the mind's eye, and then they're connecting it too with some that really, truly, truly want to see him. Now, what about those that are, let's say, walking in the woods and have claimed they've seen Bigfoot, but they weren't looking for him? Are there any of those folks out there? Sure, but then again, they really, really like the idea of seeing Bigfoot. So they might convince themselves that they have seen it. All right, so is there a physical being then, guides? Again, I'm going to ask, a physical Bigfoot from your perspective that walks the earth? Now, they said not now. Way back, perhaps, similarities, but not now, not now. So the imagination is strong. And we can, and human beings do conjure up many images for themselves. So the truth of it is, we don't feel that there is an existence of Bigfoot as you might think of it. It is more an individual reality, individual experience.
Oh, now I have a cat freaking out back here, so just so you know.
Oh.
And if you hear noise, they're now starting the repaving process a week later.
Oh.
To move our cars.
They're doing it right now. I don't hear anything, so.
Good.
So what do you get on Bigfoot?
We actually love that response too. When he asked if they were interdimensional, no, they're not interdimensional as you might think of that. But dimensions are a fascinating topic. We might have to go off on those in a little bit. Yes, I'm asking, so is there anything to add to that? And they said, actually, we quite love your explanation, and we feel that that covers it. Let me see. You know, sometimes, so we like the explanation of, you know, what you see in your mind's eye. Having never experienced something like that, one can see a bear and then in a flash think it has a humanoid face or something. So it's here's what we'll say. It's far too similar to a bear species for it to be, and there's far too much of human race in these places now for it to be what you think of as Bigfoot. So yeah, so the rest is, we really agree with what you're saying. But we like the question. It's a really fun question. More importantly, we like the interdimensional question. Okay, where do you want to go with that? So is there anything more you wanted to say about Bigfoot?
No, it's a good point, because I think we'd all love the idea that maybe there's a Bigfoot out there. And for me personally, I'm still not going to say there isn't, but I get what our guys are saying. Yeah. Absolutely. I think it is more of just the intention of somebody out there and what they maybe want to see. You know, there's been so many claims of other earthly kind of weird things that are out in the forest and things, right? That people, you know, and I don't doubt those. I mean, again, we've only seen maybe, you know, we don't know everything as human beings here on the planet. We're still learning, and there are still probably species and things out there that we are not aware of. It's just they think that Bigfoot in particular is kind of what you were saying, Julie. I think it would be something hard to miss, you know, so to speak, right? You know, well, there are those people out there like, I did see it, so I didn't miss it, I saw it. But again, we would say, use caution. I'm sorry, they keep trying. I wasn't going to say it, but it's just so funny. For those of you who've seen Elf with Will Ferrell, the movie Elf, I love that scene. I still love that scene of Elf walking in the forest in his elf costume, and they freeze the frame of him looking like Bigfoot walking. I don't know why that just came to me when I first was looking at this, but I remember watching that with my kids, and I said, I just started busting up thinking, could you imagine if you were walking out the forest and you saw him, a guy like that walking in the forest? And we just had the biggest laugh over that because it was just the idea. Anyway, just sharing that moment. Yeah, that's it. I mean, I guess that's all that I have to say about Bigfoot.
Our mind's eye is incredibly imaginative and flexible. Mm-hmm. And we could sit and watch the same thing right in front of us, and you and I, and we'll both come away with a completely different perspective and impression. So that's just the nature of the human eye and mind. But we want to talk a little bit about time and dimension. I hope they know what they're talking about, because there's nothing about it.
Let's open up.
So we like the idea of time connected to dimensions, because if you go into a meditative state with your conscious and allow your consciousness to sort of float out, release, it can go anywhere, and time is a dimension. And so we we want you to be willing, if you are, to explore where that consciousness might lead you. You are safe, because they're like, yeah, we know your story. So I'll remind you of my story if I haven't, if you haven't heard it. And then we'll come back to the dimensions. When I was about 13, I remember thinking to myself, my sister's 6 years older, and she was very much, she was in the hippie age, right? And she was, into meditation. And, it's like, oh, you have to sit in the lotus position. Somehow I got in my head that you had to sit in the lotus position and meditate, which is truly uncomfortable for me personally. But so I did it a couple of times. Nothing happened. By the third time, I left my body, had an out of body experience, and it scared me so much that I hopped back into my body and said, I'm never doing that again. And so they're saying, we want to reassure you that as really what happened to me, to Julie, is not unusual, and you can therefore bring yourself immediately right back into your body. But the possibilities of where you can go, not just what you think of as astral travel, but where you can go to experience new things and to gain a new perspective and to open your mind and your consciousness to the possibilities is limitless. Mm-hmm. And so it's really only as, we'll just say it's only as limited as you choose it to be. Okay. There's so much out there that we as a human species have no idea about, right? And sorry, she dug her nail into me when she got up from my lap. So much that you don't know as human species. So hence the Bigfoot, right? If you people who, we're going to add something to that. People who had a lifetime where they experienced that species, which is somewhere between Neanderthal or Neanderthal, however you choose to pronounce it, and Homo sapien, it could be what you think of as Bigfoot. If you had a human lifetime or something else during when those kinds of beings were on the planet, on your planet, then you may be somebody who believes, knows in some way that you've seen Bigfoot. Well, that's an interesting explanation. You didn't offer that before. So, they're like, yes, because we wanted to tie it into time and consciousness and dimensions. Mm-hmm. Okay. So, there is much people, you humans are so funny. Humans like to ascribe, there's 3 dimensions. There's 5 dimensions. There's 14 dimensions. There are as many dimensions as possibilities.
I believe that. Absolutely.
Limitless. And so what is a dimension? We're going to tell you that it is just an altered state of consciousness. So of course, this is limitless. And so when you think about shifting into a new dimension, you are shifting into an altered consciousness, hopefully with the intention of bringing you some information that will help you in the personal growth of your life. Anything you want to add to that?
No, I absolutely agree with everything that you just said, and I think that's true when we have these experiences of either out of body or any of those things. Just as you were saying, Julie, it really, I believe, it's just helpful to bring some new perspective to the present time when you come back in. There's reasons for everything, really, and experiences that you have. And it, you know, what went through my mind a little bit too when you were saying was like the idea of people being really fixated on how many past lifetimes they've had. And, you know, for me in my earlier years of like reading and exploring and learning about all of these things, yeah, you know, I was one of those like, wow, I wonder how many. And some psychics, you know, like might give you a number. And I have for a very long time have left that all to the side. I don't even look at like numbers of things of how many lifetimes somebody's had, or any of that thing, because they really do tell us they don't like us to really fixate on the numbers in that way. I mean, you know, numbers are really kind of cool in general, but not so much in like how many lifetimes you've had, that kind of thing. So
It's not really important. It's what was important
exactly,
to take away from that lifetime. What did
exactly.
you learn that you can apply in this lifetime?
Right, right. Because it's not like if you heard that you had 1,000 lifetimes, it does not make you any smarter than somebody else, spiritually speaking, necessarily. I'm not saying you don't have a lot of experience behind you, but you know, don't get fixated on that because some people I think do. It's like oh, I was told I've had so many life, you know, whatever. You get our point on that though. So not really much to say on that. But I agree with everything you just said. I mean, it feels right. And it is limitless, like you said. It's just there's many, and not to try. They're telling me not to try to find point and fine tune things so much. Sometimes just going back to kind of that idea as an example of like how many past lifetimes somebody's had, because that narrows your perception. It narrows it narrows down your experience. So
Exactly.
you know, to be open, yeah.
Exactly. And so we like that you're saying that because it really ties into dimensions, lifetimes, dimensions. It's all dimensions. It's all a state of consciousness. It's all about what experience you can take away from that to grow.
Mhm.
Thanks for summing that up because I'm still trying to wrap my head. What exactly did they sitting here
Yeah,
talking going, did people understand that? Because I'm not sure I understood what they just said.
yeah. No, I do that too. I think as channelers, that often happens to us. Things will come through where you're kind of like, oh, okay, I'm going to take note of that myself, you know,
I can listen to that and see
I
if
hope
it
that makes
makes sense.
sense. Yeah, I know what you mean. But yeah, I did. I did.
Okay.
So
And sometimes it just makes sense to parts of it to others, and so be it.
yeah.
Yeah. Fun. Okay.
Yes.
Anything
You
else?
know,
Yeah.
I'm just going to jump into there's can be a difference, you know, because I really believe in the elementals. Anybody that looks at my Facebook page will see that, or Instagram. Um, and you know, we don't put that in the same category as like Bigfoot, right? You know, I mean, they do exist. I mean, there is that dimension of that interdimensional, which I know Rudy probably absolutely understands that. Um, so, but yeah, those definitely do. And yes, do I see them in my mind's eye? Yes, I don't necessarily, and that's when I'm looking actually when I'm sitting to open up to them. You know, then I'll see that. I don't necessarily see them, but then a lot of my clairvoyance, and I think you've mentioned that maybe for yourself too, Julie. I know from my clairvoyance, I have seen things. I've had some experiences of visible energy of a spirit, but that's far and few between. Yeah, it doesn't happen to me often. I have had a few experiences, but most of it is in my mind's eye, you know. So that's the same for like for me when I open up to if I'm in my where my little flowers are in my front garden, then you know I can see them playing hide and seek a little bit in bushes and things like that. It's kind of fun.
So they said, so a couple of things. They said elementals are a manifestation of energy. And just like we're a manifestation of matter and energy,
Mhm.
they're a manifestation of energy. Um, so one thing that I kind of pondered this, or I got this, it was kind of I don't know if it was a drop in or my own awareness, but I just anecdotally, I don't have anything to back this up, but anecdotally, I came to understand that people don't, who do what we do, don't need the physical manifestation of that. It's actually easier for us to, and for the spirit and to just manifest as energy in our mind's eye than to have to manifest a denser energy for those who need to see them in physical form.
Uh,
And you maybe did that early on because that's what what awakened you or helped you
Yeah,
early on.
maybe. Right.
So
Yeah, no, that makes sense. That makes absolute sense. Something that tied in with me too is um, I've even thought this as a, clairaudient, clairvoyant, clairsentient, how they all tie together anyway. But that I don't always have, you would think that I'd have like all these visitations from spirit, which, well, I do and don't.
what?
But yeah, but a lot of it is for me, or maybe even be able to see them a lot, or, why not have all these? But it's kind of ties into what you're just saying, because my guides will say that, well, because you are able to clairaudiently hear and tune in that way, then it isn't necessary for maybe, my loved ones in spirit to always be. Now they have impressed their energy upon me at times when I wasn't expecting it, but that was probably because I needed it at that time of anything that was going on in my life or something, some comfort or whatever. But yeah, so I mean, it just kind of reminded me of that when you were mentioning that too.
It's really quite fascinating. And, for people who are listening or watching us, some of this is very new information for us too. I mean, I hear things come through that I'm like, "Oh, never heard that before," you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's kind of fun for us too. But we'd love it if you would ask questions, and hopefully some of it is educational for you. And it's kind of as Tammy and I have said time and again, we perceive and practice and experience very similarly. Now, maybe that's validating, I think, for us. People have asked, well, I've had another psychic tell me this, and I will say, that's fine. I'm going to speak for myself. I don't make another psychic wrong unless I think it's news that was inappropriate for one to hear.
Yeah.
In other words, I had somebody come to me one day for a reading, and she said, she was rightly so very upset. She's like, "Well, I kind of just want to know where my life is going because I had a psychic tell me I was going to die at this age," and we went, "No, that's not going to happen." And by the way, how inappropriate for somebody to tell you that.
Right.
And so I don't make anybody else wrong except for things like that because
Yeah.
it's inappropriate. That Can you imagine what that did to that person?
Oh yeah, no, it is inappropriate. Absolutely. What my guides do, and they have said several times, and if I hear it for somebody, I might have mentioned this before. If I hear it for somebody, I repeat it, but I also let them know, and that is if they're showing us that they plan to be here for a long time. I would never look at like how long somebody's going to live, nor would they give that to me, but I find it interesting. Sometimes they'll pop it in and they want that person to know, but I find that that person on some level needs to know that I think I have talked about this before. It's familiar to me talking about it, but anyway, that yes, that they need to know it, probably to either feel a little bit better about where they are in their life, or to, often the message will be, so like it or not, you're showing us wanting to be here a long time, or that's what you're showing us. So kick it in gear. You got a lot of years. You're gonna, start getting your life together. And sometimes they're needing to hear that, or they have a fear of death, and they have a fear that they're leaving at a very young age. Now, I'm even, careful about when I hear that, but I really explain it. I want to make sure explain it, because what I tell them, it doesn't mean that, let's say two of you came in at the same time together for a reading, one heard it and one didn't. It doesn't mean the other one isn't going to have a long life. But this one, my guides tell me, has given permission for them to reflect it back to them, and they're wearing it very proudly in their energy field, and it's important to them. So it's just being reflected back. Again, it doesn't mean the other person who didn't hear it isn't going to have a long life as well, but there was a reason this person needed to have that reflected back to them. So, but yeah, we never go down like the path of, I mean, I'm going to be honest. Have I heard things sometimes that was a little concerning to me or surprised me? Yes, but I did not share. I would not share it. Sorry, I did not share that.
I have in certain ways. I mean, and that's another whole conversation. But
Yeah.
I do remember some gentleman came in when we were when I was at East West, and he, it doesn't matter that your client has had a couple of adult beverages as long as you haven't, right? And he'd had a couple of adult beverages, and when he sat down, I remembered feeling my lungs and feeling and his lungs, and wasn't able. I was having a hard time breathing, and I said to him, "You need to either go get a checkup, or there's something with your lungs." And he said, "Well, I'm a firefighter." And I went, "Oh, well, that makes sense, but be careful. Be
Yeah.
careful of that you're not." So I get things like that, but I don't think I've ever gotten somebody's gonna die. Anyway.
Yeah.
I was gonna say something else now. What was I gonna say? Oh, so we wanted to just give a quick little update. Was there more, Tammy?
Yep.
Okay.
I'm good.
We wanted to give just a quick little update on on the pandemic.
Oh, okay.
We find this so amusing because, and not in a bad, we don't want that to sound bad. Nobody's suffering is amusing, okay? We find the inability of people to grasp the reality of the situation fascinating. All right, maybe not amusing, fascinating.
Mhm.
And so here's what we want to say to you. There is a new variant. We have talked about this time and again, that this is it's a virus. Its sole mission is to find a place and survive and replicate. That is its mission. And until you shut down a way for that to happen, it's going to continue to do what it does. And that means mutating. So now it is mutated into, they call it mu. I think it's alpha, delta, mu, which are all, I think Greek.
Yeah.
It's Greek.
No idea.
And so, of course, there's a new one because it's smart. And we said this from the very, very, very beginning. This is it is unlike any virus. It is a very smart virus. And you're not going to outsmart it unless you do the things that just science tells you to do. And this is not coming from me. I mean, that's my belief too, but this is coming from my guide. So it, of course, is always a human choice. You can choose to do this, but you cannot choose to change the facts on how this virus acts and experiences its existence and its own consciousness in this world. And that's what we're going to say about that.
Yeah. No, good. Pandemic update.
So yeah,
Like ditto. I hear ditto to what you said. Feels like it's going to stay here for a while. And that's because everyone is not on the same page. That's what they're saying. No surprise. And so be careful. Make sure that you're taking care of yourself in all ways. They're also showing me not just the protocol, hand washing, face masks, which is all great, but they're showing me the body being fit. They're showing me like taking care of your body. So it's what you're putting into your body, getting the exercise. Actually for me, this is the first time they've shown it to me that way. Because I think they said enough has been said about what you need to do. And we are in agreement with the protocol, they said. But also it goes back to your immune system, right? And keeping it strong, I think is really what they're getting at here. So
it's interesting. So I tend to randomly wake up every few hours just because I'm in pain. And either the TV's already on because I fall asleep with it on, or I'll turn it on as I wait for my pain medicine to kick in. And when I turned on the TV at 4 this morning, I heard somebody discussing how Oscar de la Hoya was vaccinated and has a case of COVID and is in the hospital. This is a prize-winning fighter. This man is probably in better shape than you, I, and most of the population will ever be. Is it his immune system? I don't know. Yeah. I just know that we want you to think of it this way. You know how you close a door and it's dark, but somebody shines a light outside and you can see it coming in through cracks. it looks for a crack. It
Yeah.
looks for a place to insert itself.
Great.
If it is the right time and place with the right crack, it will insert itself in that way. It's really just quite that simple.
Yeah. Yeah, no, you're right. I mean, and along with that, about the kind of the strong immune system, God bless them. I can feel the love that they're bringing in really right now as they talk about we're trying to give you another way to look at to take care of this. Another, because they know they go like this. Everything's been talked about the vaccinations, getting vaccinated, and it's all good. They're behind that, supporting that.
No horse pills, please.
What's that? Say again?
No horse dewormers, please.
Yeah. Right. But they said it, that's why they're also giving just now the body to also do your best to take care of your body. But you're right, Julie. I mean, there are, of course, people out there that are super healthy people that have gotten it. So we're not implying, or from my guides, we're not implying that you did something wrong, or you know what I mean? Like, they're just trying to give another way to take care of yourself and to really emphasize the good health and good eating. And I'm not always that great at that. So I'm not speaking from personally for me, like being a health guru or anything like that. But yeah, anyway, so I just wanted to.
It is, we want to say, yes, of course, do all those things. And it's not, in some ways it's not random, and in other ways it is random.
Yeah.
It is a virus of opportunity.
Yeah.
That's all we're
It
going to
is. It is.
A virus of opportunity.
Looking for opportunity. Yeah, absolutely.
Anyway, just that last little update. Cats, I have nothing except I wish my bathroom was finished because they kind of have been cuckoo. And now I'm having issues with the guy who said he would do my catio. His actual final estimate came in like more than twice what he told me originally. I'm like,
oh no,
we need to have a chat about this. So I'm waiting for him to get back to me. And so that's my status quo on anything cat.
Yeah. Yeah. Nothing much for me. I posted, well, my Jakey turned 17 the other day, our eldest cat. We have a made up birthday for him, an approximate, because he was adopted, and we went by, how old we think he is from the first vet visit he had and what they thought when he first did his paperwork. So with that being said, he's approximately 17, and we just love him so much. Of course, you all animal lovers know about that love. And it's been fun. I put him on one of the his birthday, and one of the social cat lovers group kind of thing, and he's gotten so many sweet likes, and it was like, something great, like 1.6 thousand, I think I saw last or something. And just, because his face, the picture I have of him is, you can feel the love in the picture. You know how sometimes you get those pictures of your animals and it's at that moment. And this moment of that was, I was sitting down, he was by me on the couch. I had to get up, and I remember saying, okay, I need to get up and get some things done. And it was so funny. He comes over and he just perches his two paws on the side of my leg, and he looks up at me, and I took that picture. And a picture speaks 1,000 words, right? Kind of idea. It was one of the sweetest pictures, a very simple one of him, but one of the sweetest pictures I have of him, because it's just the love in his eyes, and just.
Is it on your Facebook page?
Yeah, it is. It's on, yes, it is. It's on my my personal one, I think. Or did I put it on my Tammy's Intuitive one? I might have put it on my Tammy's Intuitive one. I'm gonna look really, sorry, everybody. I'm gonna look really quick and see if it's on that one or if it was on my other one.
Oh, wait, here it is.
Yeah, look it's probably on my personal.
Yeah.
Personal one.
Aww.
Oh yeah, well, I do have one on my Tammy's Intuitive Services as well, of his actual birthday. That's not the exact picture I was talking of though.
Oh.
But yes, the one on my personal one is the one.
Yes, that's the one I saw.
Yeah, he looks fluffier in that one. Yeah, he's kind of looking up at me like, don't get up, Mom. Oh my God, it was he's the one I've mentioned to you guys before, that one of those drop-ins that I had, where they said, oh my gosh, it still surprises me to this day. I mean, surprising me, it doesn't, but they said he's got a high IQ, and it just came out of nowhere. And we'd always known he was smart, some animals are smarter than others. You know what I mean by that. We love them all, but some are more intelligent, I guess. But the way they said that, he's got a high IQ, and I stopped dead in my tracks. And I'm like, I know he does, but it was great validation because I don't even know why if something had happened at that moment, with him, that they said that. But yeah, I never forgot it because I thought it was really fun. So I had to share that with him, of course, with Jake.
It is kind of random though, I mean,
It was, yeah. Yeah, it was an interesting statement.
I have learned that I started thinking about it when I get information that drops in. It's usually then 1 to 2 days later that it actualizes. That certain information, like when I talked about Afghanistan, and then it was, I think, 2 days later that it happened. So some of it is just random for your own information drop-ins, but
Right.
random information like Afghanistan, then it's like 1 to 2 days.
Yep.
And not always, because I remember one day I was driving down the street and I said, oh, we're going to have a really good rainy winter. And I went, okay. Right, great. Thanks for sharing that with me. Unfortunately, that was like 15 years ago. So
yeah, right.
Although I was laying in bed. I was laying in bed this morning. I think I was laying in bed. I don't know where I was anyway. And I think we're going to have a wet winter this winter.
Well, let's hope so. Let's bring that little angel back. And
yes, because it was just, I was just randomly, it was just a drop in.
Yeah.
So,
well, goodness, everybody, if we can all just, especially certain parts of the country like California, where we're at, if we can all just put out those wonderful thoughts and prayers for, the rain, like you said, the rainy season, and just to, get some of this drought under control. And
well, if they would just build a pipeline, it would solve a lot of these problems. Anyway,
Yeah.
up on that soapbox. All right, so I think we are done for today.
So just a reminder, we'll say it each time till the 22nd, but we go live on Facebook September 22nd, 6:30 p.m. Pacific time. And do they go live? So like, Julie, is it just like on your Facebook page, I guess?
It will go, so we start with Zoom and it zooms to my Facebook page and then you have to share it.
And I'll share it. So yeah, so they need to look, if they're on Facebook, they need to look for your,
yeah, which is
right. Yeah. I was thinking that later. I don't know that stuff. So
I know we have to think about all this. I'll share it when we go on. I'll share it to my Biz Psychic page.
I see. Okay.
Because you have to be a friend of mine to see it on my my live book, my personal page.
Yeah. So your Biz Psychic would be better. Yeah.
So
for
let me tell you exactly.
Page.
Yeah, I mean, go if you don't already know, go to Biz Psychic and like it or follow it or whatever you do with it these days, and then you'll get that notification.
Yeah, perfect. And then what I'll do is share it to my Tammy's Intuitive Services Facebook page if I'm successful at doing it.
So just for your anybody's edification, it's at Biz Psychic. But the name of the page is The Biz Psychic.
Yeah, that's good to know. Okay.
So
it's BIZ. Yeah.
All right. So we will see you next week. And until then, stay cool.
Yeah.
Stay safe.
Yeah.
And we love you. Thank you. And
thanks for watching us.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you very much. All right. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.